Hello there. In this video, we are going to go over operator overloading and friend functions. A few things that should be somewhat familiar to anybody who remembers what we did in 1060, but it's worth going over these again just to make sure that we're really comfortable with them, especially in the context of classes. I think when we talked about overloading in particular the first time in 1060, it was just in the context of individual functions, but we're going to make them work with classes this time around. So, our first exercise, we're going to make a person and do some stuff with them. So let's build ourselves, I think we can use a notebook for this, it should be okay. If it's not, I can always go back, but in any case, let's write out what we have to do. I should also resize this so we can see what we're doing. Can I make that bigger? No, it's not really working. We'll just zoom right in there. All right. Make a person with private attributes, first name, last name, and age. Make a method that determines if the person is equal to another person, and a friend function that compares two persons to each other. So, seems pretty straightforward to me. I think we'll say that, for two people to be equal to each other, their first name and their last name and their age all have to be the same. Obviously, if only two of these match, there's two Michael Jordans out there. They're different ages though, so they're definitely different people. So we'll say anybody with the same first name, last name, and age as another person is the same person. Not necessarily perfectly accurate to real life, but Okay, so we'll make a friend class. Person, not friend. And our person class needs to have private variables, first name, last name, and age. Now, I don't think I need to actually write private in here. In fact, I do believe the default is actually for them to be private. So I'll just leave this as is for now, and I suppose I can double check this as well. But we'll see that in a little bit when we start working on some of these methods. So we're all okay with this. I definitely should using namespace if I want to be able to use strings. Let's try that again. There we go. So I can make a person P if I want to. Let's say P dot first name is me. P dot last name is also me. P dot age equals also me for now. Okay. Yeah, and exactly as expected. First name is a private member of person. Even though I didn't write the word private in here, the default is that it is private. So if I want to be able to use these things, I have a couple of different options. One of them is that I can just do all this stuff in a method that belongs to person. So how about we make a constructor, person constructor, and in our person constructor, we'll just return me. Why not? Just make some more me's running around. Now I think I do need to do this in a separate block, so I'll actually cut this out and I'll put it here. I should turn off my notifications probably. Maybe it'll be okay. We'll see. Okay, so go. Okay, why are you angry now? Missing exception specification, no except. That's a little unusual. Well, if I do this and this, okay, yeah, I think it just forgot to run it again. Okay, so now if I do person P equals person, and then do P dot first name, calling a private constructor of class person. Oh yes, so again, default's always private, so we probably want our constructor to be public, otherwise nobody can build people. That's a bit of an issue, so let's try that again. Right, I can't actually read the first name, so how about we add on a toString function? I feel like that's useful. We'll make a toString so we can actually, see what happens when we make any of these objects. So toString takes no parameters, and its void doesn't return anything, and toString is going to print out the information of the person, so we can see what the heck we're doing. Even though, you know, the question doesn't actually mention doing this kind of stuff, I think it's worth doing just so that if stuff goes wrong, you get all these error messages. What's happening? I don't know. No accept wasn't declared. What does that mean? You know, you can try to resolve some of these issues just by giving a little bit more feedback to yourself using stuff like toString. So let's make toString. The void function person toString. And all it's going to do is, okay, so now I guess for this to work, I also need to include iostream. Otherwise, that's going to be a problem. I'm also going to disable my notifications from this. Can I do that over here? Yeah, let's just mute this for a little bit. Sorry about the, if you heard some beeps and boops. And then check your Discord and we're like, oh no, did I get a message? No, it's just me, sorry. Okay, so toString, let's, how do I write out a person? We'll do it one line at a time, I suppose. So, you know, first name, and then last name and age. Last name, age, yes. Boom, there we go. Okay, so let's restart this, and we'll do person p equals person, and then we do p dot toString. And this time it should work because toString is public, so I can actually do it. All right, run, restart the kernel and run all the cells. Let's go. Okay, good, and it died. Not quite sure why that is. Is there a problem here? Okay. Run that. Oh, why is it dying? It's really weird. Okay, is it the toString problem? Is that the issue? Unknown. Okay, well, yeah. Let's run it again. Run that. Okay, so that seems fine. Some weird stuff is going on here. Yeah, okay. Is the kernel running? Shut down the kernel. Yeah, C++. Okay, you ran that one. Now run that one. Oh, sorry. Run this, then run this, then run this, now run this. So everything is really, what is going on? It's super strange. I wonder if this is this was a mistake. Yeah, I don't know why I'm making a person p here, right? It should just be this dot or this arrow first name, this arrow last name, this arrow age. Maybe that's what the problem was. I think I probably. Oh, I should rename this. This is exercise one. I think it could be the case that I was was trying to access stuff and then it was in trouble because I wasn't actually assigning values to the last name, first name, and the age. That's probably what it was. So let's give this another shot. Oh, now Slack is notifying me too. It's okay. Hopefully that'll not be too busy. Okay. Restart. Run all the cells. Let's go. Thank goodness. Okay. So just forgot to assign this person to have the right stuff. Okay. We got a person now. Now we can move on to the next part, which is we want to make a method that determines if this person is equal to another person with the parameter person other. So first off, is this private or public? Well, in order for us to be able to call this method anywhere, we probably want it to be a public method. So, and also it determines if something, which means that the type of this should be, wait for it, Boolean. And it's going to be if they're equal. So is equal will be the name of our method, and it will be, we'll have a person other as the parameter. Okay, now let's write that method. So we'll let me insert above. This is a shortcut for this, right? A, okay, A, there we go, cool. Just gonna copy this. Good to avoid typos just by directly stealing exactly the function I have to write. So let's like that. it belongs to the person class. Now, before we had some issues where we were trying to do p.firstname and it was giving us, some problems. Let's see what happens if we try that here. So we have other, so we're going to have other.firstname. So first off, if other dot first name is equal to this first name, if other dot last name is this dot last name, if other dot age is this dot age, then yes. Otherwise, no. Now, will this work? Let's see. So we'll make person P2 is another person, and we'll see if P is equal, P dot is equal, call it is equal, right? Yeah, is equal to P2. And we'll write out they are the same. Okay, let's see if this all works. So we wrote our function that determines if this person is equal to another person based on first name, last name, and their age being the same. If they're all the same, true. If they're not all the same, false. We got our person constructor, which right now just makes copies of me, so they should be equal to each other. And if they are, then we'll compare them and see if they're the same. All right, let's see what happens. I hope it works. Restart the kernel, run all the cells. Let's go. Run 2, 3, 4. Okay, what do we mess up? Okay. Yes, that's right. This is always a pointer, so this should always have the arrow. Nicely, it tells me, did you mean this? Did you mean this? Did you mean this? This is a good indicator of what I was supposed to do. So that was just to fix up that. Okay. Here I am. They are the same. Great. But wait a moment. Shouldn't this have messed up? Before, if I do other.firstname, in fact, let's try to do it here, right? p2.firstname. It's private. How come this worked? This is the difference, the most important difference, I would say, between private and public variables. All these public methods that I have here are all ones that I can call at any time that I want. If I want to do, p2.toString, not a problem, right? But if I want to access any of the private members from some part of my code outside of the person class, no good, can't do it. But look at is equal here. Is equal is a member function of person, meaning that every person has a function called is equal that belongs to them. And since it is part of the class, it has the privilege of accessing any private members it needs to, not only of itself, but of other people as well. So note that when I have my code here and I do other.firstname, that's the same as p2.firstname. As long as I'm inside the person class, totally fine. Outside the person class, does not work. So that is our first method, but we wanted to do a second method. So let's, going back to the top, a friend function that compares two persons to each other. Well, let's just try to write a normal function that compares two persons and see what happens. You can probably expect exactly what will. So again, it's going to return Boolean, true or false. We're going to have is equal once again. Now note that this is just a function by itself. It's not going to be a member of the person class. So even though it has the same name, is equal, it is going to work a little differently, and it's going to have different parameters. We're going to have person P1 and person P2, and want to see if they are the same. Now, how do I know if they're the same? Well, basically this. I'm just going to steal the code. Except instead of other in this, we have P1 and P2. Okay, so run, and then here I get an error. Why do I get an error? Well, it's the same thing from before. First name is private. can't just access that from some random spot, so that is not going to work for us. But turns out you can actually get this to go very, very quickly and easily with the idea of a friend function. So this function here, I can declare to be a friend. And it's the function I wrote. Now by writing this, what I'm saying is that even though is equal, this is equal, not the other one, has been declared as something that's not a member of the person class, it is still a friend, meaning it can access private members. So I run this. I think I have to, maybe I have to declare this first. Yeah, I might have to declare this first, actually. Sorry. I think if I don't do that, it'll be angry at me. No, okay, this is a little tricky. So I have a problem. Because I have to declare, I have to declare what a person is first before I can declare its friend functions, but it doesn't like me declaring the friend functions because it couldn't find the person. What if I put this all together? Will that be okay? Let me see. Can I do this? Or is it very mad at me? Yeah, okay, function declaration is not allowed there. Good to know, good to know. Okay, we're going to figure out why this is not working and how to fix it. Okay, let's try restarting everything and we'll see if it is okay. There's a lot of errors in here, because yeah, it's private. Did I declare the friend function incorrectly? Let's take a look at our notes and see if that has any clues. It's possible I did have the wrong syntax at some point. Nope, that looks quite right. Yeah, friend and the function name. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Let's try restarting. We'll see if that helps. Restart the kernel, run all the cells. Oh, it's angry right away because it couldn't find the function. But this wouldn't be angry, it would say fine. This could be one of those notebook issues where it really doesn't like doing stuff like this inside of a notebook. Out of curiosity, I'm going to try running this with just a normal C++ file. Maybe it's the case I shouldn't have been using a notebook for this exercise. Who knows? Okay, so comment. Let's make a file. Exercise1.cpp. Throw down our code here and here. And here. And here. And then this is our main function. Later in this course, we will structure these kinds of things a little better. We'll probably have person in a separate file, but we're not quite there yet. I guess we don't really need that line of code. And just to test out our second file, we'll do if is equal p comma p2. All right, they are definitely the same. Just for a little bit of, again, feedback so we know what's going on. Let's try to see if this works. And if this works, then I know it's an issue with the notebook. If it doesn't work, then I still have to figure something out. Terminal, compile my code. run my code. They're definitely the same. Okay, so again, you know, notebook sometimes doesn't always do the things you want it to do. Looks like this isn't quite going to work out, unfortunately, so I'll probably have to comment this thing out, because I don't think you'll be able to use friend functions quite the same way with the notebook. A little unfortunate that that's the case. Might be some workaround. If someone can find one, feel free to let me know. But, you know, for now, we may just have to stick with using CPP file, and in that case, you know, it seems like it can print stuff out perfectly fine, and it was able to run is equal with both of these because I declared it to be a friend function. If I remove this line of code, and I try this again, it's very angry about things being private that I cannot access. So, gotta have that line. No problems. Okay, let's continue. Next exercise. Make a method setName. It takes two strings and sets the first to be the person's first name and the second to be their last name. Then overload the method to accept a single string with one white space and assign the two names appropriately. All right, let's do that. Now, I can probably continue. Do I want to do that in my notebook or in my CPP file? We'll keep using the notebook for now. I guess the friend thing didn't quite work out, but you know, that's all right. Let's see if we can keep working on some stuff here. So the next thing we have to do is this. So we're gonna need two methods. Again, we could use friend functions for this, but I think what we'll do is we'll make these methods part of the person class, and we're going to have setName, which takes two strings, first and last, and sets those appropriately. And we'll have another setName, which just takes their name, has a single white space, and assigns the two of them. So let's get these to work. Shouldn't be too bad. Okay. Doesn't matter too much where I write the code for this, so I'll just write it here. This one is the easy one, right? So, of the person class, I set name. And if I want to set their names, I can actually just do pretty much this, but instead of my name, you know, first and last. Done. Easy. I mean, no time at all. Okay, the other one's a little trickier. I have to figure out how to parse that one. So, let's do the other setName. Person colon setName, string name. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to split the string. I know it has one white space, so if I use the string split method, that should be able to give me what I'm looking for. Now, I should include string. I don't know if I have to, but better safe than sorry. And I should remind myself how the string split function works over here. So split, I don't want a form, I just want, actually just give me strings. Give me strings, split. Is it not here? It should be here. I thought I could split a string with the string method, but maybe I'm wrong. Too used to Python, I suppose. In Python, you can just, you know, type in split, and it gives you the two as a list. But I need to do something different, I suppose. So what I can do is I can use a combination of substring and find, and these two together should give me my solution. So what I want to do is I want to use substring to give me new strings that are the first and last name respectively, and I also want to use find so I know where the space is. So substring takes a position, so this is the first letter, and then the number of characters to go after that. Is this optional? A value of this indicates all characters until the end of the string. Okay, that's good to know, I suppose. So let's see if we can do this properly. If it takes a few tries, not a big deal. Okay, substring. All right, so this first name is name.substring, and I want to start from 0, and I want to go until I reach the location of the space. So I should figure out what that is. The where is the space? It's name dot find the space. So substring up to the space. Now, is this inclusive or exclusive? Or wait, it's the number of characters. So if the space is at index 5, that means it's the 6th character. So actually, this should be fine, just as it is. And then this dot last name should be starting from space +1 until the end of the string, which I think it said was npos, like this. I'll put that in. We'll see if this works. Okay, first step, run that one. Cool. Next step, run this one. Okay, it doesn't know what that is. What if I do this? Does it know what it is now? Apparently so. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. That's the comment. Everything seems to be okay. Now let's see if we can do this. So p dot, what do we call it? Set name? Set name. Name. What's a good, topical name to put in right now? I haven't been watching the news much lately. It's okay. Let's go with another instructor. Always a classic example. Mariana. Shimabukuro. I hope I spelled that right. Seems to have worked. What if I do p dot to string? Look at that. Seems like it did it okay. Now, how about I do p2 dot set name, and I try to do Randy Forte all in one go. p2 dot to string. Oh, feels really good when you get to work the first time, doesn't it? So these both are functions, methods of the person class called setName, but they are two different ones. One of them takes two strings and assigns the first string to first name, second string to second to last name, and the other takes a single string and splits it up. And it looks like I split it up correctly on the first try, which feels really good. Now, how did I know how to do that? First off, I was able to access C++.com's reference, so I knew what the function was. That helps a lot. But, how do I know what to put in all of these parentheses, right? So first off, I need to know where the space is. To find the space, I can use find. It's a method of string. So string.find, and I'm looking for the single space that's in there. This is going to give me a index, because remember, strings are arrays, right? They're just a bunch of characters in a row. This gives me the index of where that space is. So when I try to get the first name, let's think about, for instance, Randy, right? His first name has 5 characters, and then the space is the next character. What index is that? It's index 5, because the first 5 characters are on indices 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to get the 5 characters, that's the index of the space, starting from the 0th and going 5 characters. Then I want to get the last name. Well, where does the last name start? If the space is at index 5, then I want to start from index 6 for the last name. And then how do I know how to go to the end? I guess there's 2 options. One thing is what I could do is I could do a bunch of math, and I can calculate, here's where the space is. I can get string.length. I can do some subtraction. This is annoying. Turns out, the reference just told me, so I used it. A value of string : npos indicates all characters until the end of the string. So I put that in, and it worked. And that's it. Okay, so we've done exercise 2. Let's wrap up with our final exercise. Okay. We gotta use friend functions for this one. So let's do the rest of this in our C++ instead of our notebook. Okay. So I'll rename this then to be exercise 3, I suppose. And then this one is, you know, 1 and 2. Okay, so what do I have to do? Use friend functions to overload these operators and allow my code to use those to compare or print out people. So definitely having my is equals is necessary, having my toString is going to be necessary, and we use friend functions for these things. So to get this to work, I'm going to want to, let's start with the equals one. I feel like that's probably the easier one. So my function is called bool operator equals equals, and this is going to take a, let me remind myself on how to get this going. Overloading operators. So overloading operators. Yeah, so I need to include the name of the class, because the operator is going to belong to the person class, and then I'm going to need to know what it returns and what the parameter is going to be. Okay, so this is going to belong to the person class. This is the person operator, and the parameter is going to be another person. So person other. Now, I could be kind of tedious and write this all out, but I already know I have an is equal function, so why not just use that, right? So I'll just return if is equal other. Makes sense, right? So if that works, then let's try replacing this with p equals p2. Is it going to work? Let's find out. G++ exercise 3. Okay, it's very angry. Why are you very angry at me? My goodness. Right, it belongs to the person class, so I should mention it over here, shouldn't I? We're going to need to have this over here. There we go. Let's try that again. Oh, I missed a semicolon. My bad. Right there. Hey, look, everything seems fine. Working okay. It was able to run this, and all was well. Let's double check that this is working by trying the other scenario, right? What happens if they're not equal? So to make sure that they're not equal, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to steal my set name code. Let's throw that in here. To grab my set name functions, should include string. My set name function. My other set name function. Just gotta make sure that it's working okay. Let's see if happens if p2 dot set name. Now this should not print anything, right? Oh, now I have it so it prints different. Just so it prints something. Different. They are different. Hooray. So, looks like my equals operator is doing exactly as desired. And for this one, I didn't need a friend function. The reason I didn't need a friend function is because it turns out is equal is a public part of the person class. So I don't need a friend function for it. And I think I might not actually need a friend function for the plus either, now that I think about it. Actually, it wasn't plus, right? It was output. Yeah, plus doesn't really make a lot of sense. In fact, I don't even think we need friend functions for this really much at all. I think we just need to do the overloading. So you know what? I'm going to change this, because I can. Just overload. that should be fine. Okay, we're going to need to output people. So this is where things get a little trickier. How the heck does that work? So with OStream operator arrow arrow, for this, we're going to take a parameter called OStream. I don't remember if it has a percent sign or not. I think it does. OS. And the way that this is going to work is we're going to pretend like this OS is like cout. And we're going to write a function that is going to send everything to cout, basically. Sort of like that. And that way when we try to use the arrows to put a person into cout, it will actually print everything as we desire. So let's see how this works. We're going to need to have this. Okay. Now, normally we're used to doing stuff like this, right? Cout this first name, something like that, right? But we don't have cout here. What we have instead is OS. And we're not going to send the first name because we do want to like print it properly, right? So let's go look at our string function. We're going to actually do this. We're going to take all this that's here and make all these OS output stream. We need to have this arrow first name. Might not need to, but it's good to just in case. And then finally we would return OS. And now if we did this correctly, what should happen is this output stream is essentially going to contain all of the stuff that we're sending it in terms of the text here. So when we go down below and we see different, I should be able to do something like cout p2, which before wouldn't work at all. But now it looks like it might. Let's find out. We'll throw another end line there just because, sure. All right, did I break anything? Let's see. I did. What did I break? No match for operator and person. Okay, well that's not a good sign. What did I mess up here? I think this has the wrong parameters. I think it's supposed to be something else. I wonder if do the notes mention that? Let's take a look. No, A. Okay. You know what? Let's. I think I remember doing this before. It might be the case that I'm looking for a person as the other parameter. Let me double check for a second. OStream overloading C++. Blah, blah, blah. What should it look like? Okay. So this is where we do need a friend function. I was mistaken, and that's a good reason to fix this back to where it was. Okay, so why do we need a friend function? Well, when we do equals equals or arrow arrow, let's think of what's on either side of the symbols, right? When we do equals equals, you know, what's on the left? It's the person, right? And on the right side is the other. When we do arrows, the left side is not a person. In fact, it's cout. But now we have a problem. It's, you know, cout can't actually access, you know, the first name or last name of a person. So we have a bit of a problem. But we learned how to deal with that. It turns out if we need to access private stuff, we can just make it a friend function. Now, this is not going to belong to the person class, because it doesn't, actually. It comes after cout, right? That was, again, my little mistake. But the thing on the right of it is a person P. And person P is going to have a first name, last name, and age. Sorry about the little mix-up. So This is the arrow thing is not going to belong to our person class, but it is going to be a friend function, meaning that we can access the first name, last name, and the age of our person. And we can print that and send that all to OS, which is our output stream, which is going to be, in this case, be cout. So let's see if that works. I hope so. Oh no, what did I do wrong now? Oh, I forgot to update the description up here, because this should be person P. Let's try that again. Clear. Cool. Run it. Hey, look, there's Randy. Hooray! So, I think that's it for this video. We went over doing some friend functions, some overloading of different functions. We got two set names here. Using friend functions in combination with overloading operators. I think this is probably the most advanced thing that you'll have to do. And this is maybe a really good example to hold on to in case you ever have your own class you want to print stuff out to. It's definitely very easy to forget that this needs to look exactly like this with your class defined over here. And OStream ampersand OS, you're probably not going to remember that, right? So use this code as a guide. It's a pretty handy reference anytime you need to figure out, how can I make it so I can just directly print out my persons, because this is really clean, nice looking code, right? I don't have to have this like big mess of cout p2 first name arrows p2 dot first name. Like, it's so annoying, right? Instead I can just do this, and now suddenly it all works really clean. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in class. Goodbye.